What really is Compound V? Compound V is the Nazi super soldier serum that created Homelander, gave Soldier Boy immortality, ruined A-Train's heart, and turned dozens of kids into abominations. But there's a lot more to it than you might think. When administered directly into the bloodstream, it mutates living organisms by boosting their strength, speed, metabolism, and durability, all while giving them special abilities. Either that or it completely cooks you as an individual. Invented by Vought, a Nazi genetic scientist during World War II, it was supposed to create soldiers that would turn the tide for the Nazi government. But Frederick realized that they were all cooked, and the US Army was going to win the war. So instead, he switched sides and used the research he had as a bargaining chip to gain US residency. But instead of locking him up, the US government let him continue his work. Out of that came Vought International, a company that pretends to manage superheroes, but in reality, it manufactures them like products on a shelf by using Compound V. They turn them into celebrities, release them to cities, and push them into the military. Compound V became less about science and more about money and control. For decades, the public didn't even know that Compound V existed. Most people believed that superheroes were chosen by God. In reality, they were all injected with a serum in secret when they were babies. The chosen by God angle was pure Vought propaganda. A religious myth used to sell their brands and keep the truth buried. When Starlight exposed this to the world, it shattered everything. Heroes weren't seen as divine anymore. They were experiments, manufactured products sold under a lie. But somehow, Vought was able to turn the narrative and lead the public to accept what they did. And eventually, after the public's acceptance, they started to make plans to sell Compound V to other countries and make super soldiers to include in wars. However, there are technically three versions, or rather levels, to Compound V. Level 3 is what I call Compound V Prime. This is the purest and most potent form of Compound V that was first created by Frederick Vought. This is speculated to have no side effects whatsoever, and it makes the user nearly immortal. It was given to Stormfront and Soldier Boy, and as you can see, they don't look a day over 20, regardless of them being over 100 years old. Next is level 2, Compound V Beta. This is the mass-produced version that is given to today's supers. Like anything, once it hits the market and there's a greater demand for it, corners are cut to make production more affordable and cost-efficient. But this also affects the quality of the product, making this formula more diluted and weaker than its predecessor. It's also more likely to create abominations and kill the user. Next is level 1, Compound V21, which is the most unstable. This is known as Temp V, which can give humans powers for 24 hours, but it comes at a cost, having a lot of nasty side effects if abused. Side effects like abdominal pain, confusion, diarrhea, fatigue, vision problems, cardiac problems, personality changes, cancer, or even brain tumors. But if that's not enough, if you ever stumble across any of these super steroids, think twice before taking it. Because as an adult, it's a lot more risky taking Compound V Beta, since the risk of it mutating you into an abomination is a lot higher. Hence why Compound V is usually given to newborns, and even then, you're still at risk of mutating when it activates. Because in the spin-off TV show The Boys Present Diabolical, there was a group of rejected superheroes that were all administered Compound V as babies, but it took a turn for the worse, giving them some ridiculous abilities.
Here, a shit home for kids with shit powers. Exhibit A, Mo Slow. Probably pisses pants before he ever reaches the bathroom. Then there's Boombox. He's got a speaker for a face, but all he can play is Only Wanna Be With You by Hootie and the Blowfish.
What? You're doing... killing me. Oh, you're trying to strangle me. Oh, okay, getting a little tighter. All right.
V Beta can also be taken by supers, and this would give them a temporary Zenkai boost, making their abilities even stronger. But the drug itself is very addictive and has massive side effects when taken by supers. When A-Train took it to increase his speed in Season 1, this made him uncontrollably fast, addicted to the drug, and over time with him abusing it, it gave him heart disease. It's widely believed that Compound V has healing factors, but it doesn't. Not really, at least. Huey Sr. went into a coma and was given V with hopes of it healing him. It did wake him up from his coma and gave him the ability to face through solid objects, but it started to deteriorate his brain, giving him dementia, making him a danger to himself and the people around him. You also shouldn't take Compound V if you have cancer, because the compound may attach itself to the entity instead of healing you and it may result in the cancer becoming sentient while killing you in the process. We've seen this in The Boys Present Diabolical, with Sun He, and also with Billy Butch. So, Compound V mutates living organisms, adding or taking away from your natural biology. But the compound stays in your bloodstream, self-replicating at a rapid rate, continuing the mutation. In some cases, it may cause a strain on your organs, like what happened to Andre Anderson and his dad in Gen V. But how exactly does compound V determine the ability that you get? Well, it does it. Whether or not you are compatible with the drug depends on your genetics. It's often shown that if a character has powers, their siblings or offsprings are likely to have powers as well. The Shining Light Liberation tested this theory with Kimiko and her brother, assuming that if Kimiko got powers from Compound V, her brother would get them too. To further prove my point, we can look at the offsprings of Homelander, Translucent, Polarity, and Victoria Newman. All of their children ended up with abilities. Most of them had the same ability as their parents, all except one, Zoe. Zoe and her mom got separate abilities. This is because Zoe's powers weren't passed down genetically. She was injected with Compound V when she was a teen, and there are three things that determine the type of powers a person can get. One is genetic, but the second depends on a person's weakness and insecurities. Compound V kind of works like an evolutionary drug, picking up where you fall short. Let's take a look at Hugh Sr. After he was given Compound V, he got the powers of intangibility after interacting with his wife. Meeting his wife at the time directly affected the development of his powers. You know this during their conversation.
What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. You left.
I came back. Remember?
I did everything for you. And you looked through me like I wasn't even there. You ruined.
He mentioned how she abandoned him. She left him like he wasn't even there. She made him feel intangible, so he gained the power to become intangible. Kimiko is another very good example. As a child, she and her brother was kidnapped and forced to fight in one-on-one duels. Regardless of how much pain they were feeling, she was forced to continue fighting. She needed to be faster, stronger, and more agile than her opponent to gain an advantage and win the fight. When she was given Compound V, she gained almost boundless regeneration. She got faster, she got stronger. This allowed her to keep on fighting regardless of any injury she sustained, and with increased speed, strength, and agility, she was able to turn the tide for almost any battle she was in. The third and final factor that determines a person's ability is conditioning. Homelander was raised in a lab since he was a baby. He was tested against numerous mental and physical factors, causing Homelander to gain near infinite invulnerability, laser vision, flight, and super strength. So the physical conditions a person is raised in plays a key role in their power development. But Homelander's powers aren't the only thing that make him dangerous. And if you want to find out the truth, click this video here.